Hey YouTube family, and welcome back to a brand new video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nadine and I'm a registered midwife here working in the UK. I've been working as a newly qualified midwife for about a year now, and on my channel I create all things midwifery, and I also create some fashion, beauty and some lifestyle content. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. So in today's video I'll be listing the common reasons why some applicants may be rejected from studying midwifery, maybe rejected from university and joining the midwifery degree course. So I'll be listing and discussing them in great detail, and I'll also be explaining my journey, how it was like for me, and all the tips you can take from this video on how to secure a place on a midwifery degree course. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So before I start with the list, I just want to say that midwifery is very competitive. They only have a few spaces and there are thousands of people applying for midwifery each year. So the spaces are very limited. So the process of selection and getting the student midwives that they need is very tough and very hard, and it's very difficult to secure your place on the midwifery degree course because the spaces are very limited and they have so many applicants that apply for midwifery each year. So I hope this video helps you minimize the chances of getting rejected so that you can secure your spot on the midwifery degree course. It's all about recognizing what looks good and what doesn't look good, and what you can do to improve if you get rejected, because if you get rejected, it's not the end of the world. I've been rejected before. I just continued and persevered until I secured my spot. So it's all about learning what looks good, what doesn't look good, what to include, what to take out, what you actually need in order to be, noticed and to be selected to become a student midwife. So I really hope this video helps those that are applying or thinking about applying. So let's get started with the first reason as to why some people may get rejected. So the first reasons why some people may get rejected or may not even be offered an interview or anything else is because of their grades. So if the university are requiring a certain number of A's or B's or C's and you don't have them, then you will be rejected from the course. So if you're applying for university, make sure that you meet the entry grades that they are requiring you to meet. So if the university is asking for you to have, for example, ABB, make sure that you can achieve ABB or you have ABB in order for you to then be considered for the next process. So the first common reason why some people get rejected is because of their grades. Make sure you have your grades, make sure you are working towards your grade, and if you have any pending grades, make sure that when your grades arrive or when your grades come out, that you will meet the entry requirements in terms of grades. So that is the first and most common reason as to why some people may get rejected from university, is because they don't have the required grades for the course. So the next common reason why some people may get rejected is because of their personal statement. So personal statements is a big thing and makes you basically, stand out from everyone else. So if you have a good personal statement, you are most likely going to be invited for an interview and all of that. So make sure your personal statement is top tier. So you need to consider, is your personal statement unique to yourself and not like everybody else? Does your personal statement show your passion to become a midwife, your passion to go to university, the passion to study and become a midwife? Does your personal statement show your character, show your skills, show the uniqueness of yourself? So you need to make sure that your personal statement doesn't leave any unanswered question. Make sure that your personal statement makes you stand out from everybody else. So you need to bear in mind that thousands of people are also applying for the same spot that you want. So your personal statement is everything. Make sure that it's proofread before you hand it in. The more people that you send your personal statement to read, the more likely there will be no errors, no spelling errors, no other errors within your personal statement. Even send it to your tutors that are helping you apply for the course, or anyone else that is academic. Make sure you send it to someone so that they too can read your personal statement and make sure that it's good enough for you to submit. So the second most common reasons why some people get rejected from the course is because of their personal statement. Your personal statement needs to show the reader or the university that's reading it who you are, show your passion, show your commitment to become a student midwife, so that they can then send you an invite, so they can meet you in person and invite you to be, you know, a student midwife at their university. So make sure your personal statement is top tier and it doesn't leave any unanswered question, and it goes straight to the point, and you show yourself, your character, your skills, and your ambition and your passion to become a student midwife. So your personal statement is a big deal breaker. So the third most common reason why some people may get rejected from the course is because of the selection day exams. So if you are invited to a selection day exams, then you probably have passed your grades, you have done a good personal statement, and they have actually invited you in to actually go through the whole process of sitting tests before you actually get an interview. So the selection day tests include maths and English, and you have to pass these in order for you to then be invited for a face-to-face interview with the university. So you need to make sure that you pass the selection day test in order to secure your spot, because if you fail the selection day test, they will not even offer you an interview at all. So with the English, make sure that your spelling is correct, make sure that you understand the question that they're asking you and you're answering it correctly and you're not going off topic. Make sure that you are crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and make sure that everything is correct. And as for your maths test, you need to prepare for your maths test. If you are someone like me that struggled with maths, that literally hated maths with a passion, every time I went to these selection day interviews or selection day tests, I literally dreaded the maths paper. So if you're someone like me, you need to revise prior to going to the selection day and actually sitting the tests. You need to test yourself, test your knowledge in terms of the maths paper. You can pull up some previous test papers that are available online. If I find any, I'll leave the link in the description box below. But looking online, there are good papers out there that can help you with preparing for your maths paper and your English paper. So those are the two things that need to be prepared for before you actually go and sit those tests. And that is the most common reason why some people literally don't make it to the interview and don't secure their spot to become a student midwife. So make sure you actually pass your maths and English test on your selection day test. So the next common reason why some people get rejected is due to the group interviews. So by now, if you've been offered a group interview, you've passed your grades, you've done a good personal statement, you've passed your selection day test, which is your maths and English, and you've been offered a group interview. So the group interview, you need to make sure that you prepare yourself in articulating yourself in a group setting where you're with a lot of people, or with, you know, a few people, and how you can correctly put your opinions and how you can make your voice heard. So you need to consider things like, were you too quiet? Were you too loud and you were too noisy and speaking over people? Did you contribute to the topic that was being discussed, or did you sit on the sideline and not contribute at all? So those are the reasons why some people fail the group test or the group interview, because they were either too loud or too quiet, or they didn't contribute to the topic at all. They didn't make themselves stand out. They didn't share their opinions, share their views. They literally stayed quiet, stayed on the sideline, and basically maybe agreed on with everything that was going on, and they didn't kind of voice their opinion or voice their input about anything that was being discussed. Those are the reasons why some people may fail a group interview. You need to be able to attend these group interviews with such confidence. Make sure that you are being heard, but you're not being too loud and too overpowering to the group, because obviously they don't like people that are too loud, too overpowering, that don't listen to everyone else, that just want to talk. So you need to have a balance. You can't be too loud and you can't be too quiet. You need to have a balance. Make sure you are contributing to what is being discussed and the topic, because they are watching each and every individual. They are marking you as a group, but but they are also watching you as an individual in that group. So be sure you prepare your questions, you come across confident, you come across with your opinions and contribute to what they are discussing in the group interview. Okay, so the next common reason why some people may get rejected is because of the one-to-one interview or the solo interview that is then provided to you. So at this point, if you are being offered a solo interview, you have got your grades, your personal statement was on point, you passed your selection day test, you passed the group interview, and they've actually offered you a solo interview. So the solo interview, when I had solo interview, it was just myself and 2 other people from the university that were asking me questions. So failing the solo interview can happen, and these are the reasons why you can fail a solo interview. So if you are not prepared for the questions that they ask you, you can fail the solo interview. So questions like, why do you want to become a midwife, or why have you had the sudden interest of becoming a midwife? If you say things like, oh, I want to become a midwife because I watch One Born Every Minute or Call the Midwife, that's why I want to become a midwife, they'll be looking at you like, is this it? Is there something more to it? So you need to make sure you have your answers on point. You can't say things like, I want to be a midwife because I watch Call the Midwife or, you know, One Born Every Minute, because that just won't run. You need to show why you're passionate to become a student midwife, why you're passionate to then become a midwife, what you can then contribute to the course, what you bring to the course. You need to, you know, articulate yourself very well, where you can say things like, my skills are in this, and this is how I can bring my skills to the course, and this is how I can contribute to the course and become a fantastic midwife in the future. Say why you want to do things, and then back it up with, you know, your skills, your character, what you've learned, your experiences, what you enjoy about the healthcare industry. You can even talk about what you've read in the news, or what, you know, research you've read, or what papers you've read, and things like that. Make yourself stand out in that solo interview and come prepared. Ways that you can come prepared is by sitting with a family member, a friend, someone that you know that's in the healthcare sector, and have them ask you questions, and then see how well you articulate yourself and where you need to better improve in your answers and things like that. So beforehand, I would highly recommend to sit with someone and go through an informal interview style practice question, and just go back and forth answering and explaining yourself, so you can better articulate yourself when it comes to the solo interviews. So the next common reasons why some people may get rejected from the course is because they cannot, or they do not provide referees when asked to by the university. So the university has then, you know, put you through the whole process, you've passed everything and the interviews, and now it's time for you to hand in your referees, or your people that can vouch for you and give you, you know, reference in order for you to then, you know, become a student midwife. If you cannot provide this, or if you delay providing this, they will literally take you from the whole process and cancel your application, because they have thousands of applicants, and some people may be quicker than you or have these information to hand, and you just basically can't be bothered to find people, or you're too late in handing these things in. So they will give you a deadline for you to meet in terms of handing in paperwork and handing in people like your references, and if you fail to meet these deadlines, or if you fail to hand in these references, then you will then be declined for the whole process, and they will give the opportunity to someone else that is more organized and has these information to hand. So make sure before you apply for the university, or before you submit your UCAS application, that you have found at least 2 people that can be your referees, or give you a reference before you go through that whole process, because you don't want to be securing your spot and then having to chase people. You know how people can be busy, you know how people can forget, and they literally don't know how much this means to you. So as long as you find them beforehand and tell them that you're going to do this process, and tell them that you're going to need their details, and you have their details to hand, make sure you do that before the whole process begins, because there's nothing worse than passing everything, passing your interviews, and the only thing that stops you from becoming a student midwife is because you delayed or didn't have any references to back your application process. So that is another reason why some people may get rejected from university. And also adding to that, another reason why some people may get rejected is because they don't meet deadlines. University have deadlines and you need to meet those deadlines in terms of your applications, because this is a good way to see whether you're going to be a serious student and take deadlines seriously, and if you're going to be organized once you're on the course. So say for example you have met all the requirements, you've got the grades, you've passed the interview, now they're asking for certain paperwork, certain references, certain your money needs to be paid in at a certain time and things like that. If you do not meet those deadlines that they've put forward to you, they're not going to take you seriously. They're going to give the spot to someone else that has these things ready to hand. So another reason is people not meeting the deadlines when university asks for people to submit evidence or paperwork or references or pay the money on time or hand in their certificates with their education and things like that. So make sure you hand in your paperwork and everything that they require from you on time. So the last and common reason why some people may get rejected from university to become a midwife is because of their checks that university do prior to giving you guys a spot at university. So the checks include a full DBS check, your immunization report and things like that. So if your DBS check comes up as you have a criminal background and there's something in your criminal past that they cannot allow, or they cannot take a student with such criminal background, then they will have to reject or decline your application due to the fact that you have a criminal background. So there's some criminal activities or criminal history that they may consider, but it has to be something minor, like say for example you have a parking ticket or a train ticket and it's gone onto your criminal record and it's just been there for a couple years and it's going to get wiped in a couple years. So things like that are minor, but don't quote me guys, don't quote me, because some university can also not take people on that. But I've known some university that have taken students with something on their criminal record as small as a parking fine or things like that. But all the major things such as you've been to jail, or things like burglary, or things like shoplifting, or things like stealing, all those criminal activities, if they are found on your DBS, you will not be recommended or even considered to become a student midwife, because they need a clean DBS. They need you to have no past history of any criminal activities, and they do this check prior to securing your spot at university. So a DBS check is one of the reasons why some people actually get declined or get rejected from university, because their criminal background isn't clean. So another reason adding on to that is the checks when they do with the immunizations. So if you have your immunization history, great, you can show the immunizations that you've had, but there's certain immunizations that they require when you are becoming a midwife or a nurse or working in the healthcare sector. You need to have certain immunizations for you to actually become a student working in the healthcare sector. So if you don't have these immunizations and you're not willing to have these immunizations, they may decline your application and reject you from the whole process and give the space to someone else that is more willing to have the immunization or has had the immunizations. So make sure you basically look at your immunization and look at what is required, what you have and what you need to have before you apply. You don't want to go through this whole process and find out that you don't have these immunizations and you can't get them in time, and then you have to withdraw your application and then apply next year. So just make sure that they will do some thorough checks, a DBS check, immunization check, and they will need to make sure that you don't have a criminal record, you've got the required immunizations, and then they will secure or give you the spot to become a student midwife. So before I end this video, let me quickly tell you guys about my experience when I was applying to become a student midwife. So I was rejected when I was also applying, and this was mainly due to when I was going on the selection day tests and exams. Like I told you guys before, maths was not my strongest point, and I would fail my maths test before I could even get an interview. So what I did that helped me was I literally revised months before the selection day test arrived, and I made sure that I had everything that I need in order to pass my selection day tests. The interviews and the group interviews and the solo interviews, I was fine with them. Like literally I would sit in an interview and I will speak and I will articulate myself because I had practiced beforehand. I knew what I had to say. I had, you know, learned all the correct terms to use or the correct, you know, things to say for myself to look better in my application. So I was prepared in that sense. But for me, I struggled with the selection day tests, but I persevered. I didn't let it stop me, and look where I am now. I'm now a midwife. I've been qualified for a year now. So yeah, make sure you prepare yourself. If this is what you want, prepare yourself. Make sure you're ticking all the boxes and you've prepared yourself for the whole selection day process and for everything else that comes with applying to become a student midwife. Like I said, the course is very competitive. There's a few spaces and there's thousands of people that apply for a spot to become a midwife each year. So you need to figure out what is going to make you stand out, what is going to make you secure your spot to become a senior midwife. So I'll leave you guys on that note. If you guys have any more questions, please drop them in the comment section below. My DMs are open. Feel free to ask me any questions you guys like. Give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So until then, bye guys.